Over the last few years, rural towns in Wales have seen a decline. And one of the purposes of the Smart Town initiative is to create data so that you can build up a knowledge base and create new opportunities for business.
Towns have got to change, they've got to adapt.
When businesses see what technology is available and what it can potentially do, and they will see that it's of use and benefit to themselves.
So a smart town does involve sensors and data. But the way I like to think about it is your town or your business talking to you through the sensor data.
And I see that the smart technology gives us that opportunity to be able to challenge or to be able to say, this is the right decision and here's the evidence to demonstrate that.
Different businesses would need different sorts of sensors depending on what you're trying to monitor. So for example, in a cafe, we would probably want to monitor air quality so that we make sure that the customer has a good experience in terms of air to breathe.
Pleasant and it's a healthy environment, and that will be a good marketing message for themselves and will attract people to their businesses, hopefully.
But also things like footfall monitoring to know how many people are actually going into the cafe space.
Having a better understanding of the influences on footfall, whether it be seasonal, whether it be decisions that are made within the town, and just to have that data and that knowledge is going to allow us to work a lot smarter. It'll be really interesting to try and understand how long people are staying, how many people are coming in on particular days of the week, at what time are they coming in. So that data for me was something I'd always really loved to understand. But there's others at least that are influences that if we understand the impact, we can go back to local government and say, do you know this is the impact on our business? You can evidence that with data.
So I think it's a suite that will expand over time.
So with electronic monitoring, we can take fridge and freezer temperatures more often, perhaps once an hour, which allows raising of alerts if someone's left the freezer door open, and these are automatically recorded on the internet to comply with the regulatory compliance.
We monitor, obviously, all our own fridge and freezer temperatures manually. I'm able to correlate those measurements with the measurements from the probes. Now, it's quite astounding to see some of the trends that are there. Already within a couple of weeks gives me that question, why is this happening?
So we have sensors which simply register whether a door is open or closed. We can raise an alert to the cafe owner, and then they can take some action to go and make sure the door has been closed properly, and therefore saving the food and the waste that would have occurred.
And I think once businesses realise the scope and what is relevant to their businesses, more people will eventually get on board and use them because they will be useful.
So the LoRaWAN system is an alternative network that business owners can plug sensors into. So once a town has been LoRaWAN enabled, this allows all business owners within that area to consider what sort of data they might find useful for their business and improving their business. So this will determine the type of sensors that they select and have installed. And then once they're installed, the sensors simply send the data through the LoRaWAN system, which then appears on a private dashboard.
And to be able to see the data pretty much live as things are happening was incredible.
But more importantly, to receive urgent alerts, which if we didn't receive, would cost the business some money.
And what I wouldn't want to do is come in next day and find out that we're now at 15 degrees and everything in that fridge I need to throw out, which for me would be £300–500 worth of stock.
So the cost of the sensors do vary, and there's also a monthly cost to manage the dashboard. But the important thing is that the value of the data that you're receiving from the system outweighs those costs in terms of business benefit.
I would say to other business owners, technology is out there and we just don't tap into much of it.
That's the exciting part of it, is that you walk along this corridor and all of a sudden there's a whole series of different rooms you can go in and explore. And some of them will be for your business or for the council to say, oh, we want to go in here because there's some good stuff.
If this can be used as a safety net to protect and to back up what we, particularly in hospitality where it comes to food and food management, to help us with that, it's gold dust.
Well, hopefully everybody will benefit, not just businesses and organisations who are trying to help the businesses. It'll be beneficial because it will all help the local economy to not just survive but thrive.
If you want to make your business work, you need to understand who's coming in, when and why they're coming in, and this data doesn't tell you all of that, but it just really reinforces and sometimes doesn't reinforce what you think you know about your own business. It adds to your knowledge. It's how you then use the knowledge, which is the next step. So yeah, I'd encourage anybody already after a few weeks to, from what I've seen, to tap into this technology if you get the opportunity.